Through the Effective Living one-on-one coaching program, you receive customized strategies and techniques to help you move from where you currently are to where you see yourself. You will work with world-renowned life coach, Ricardo Miller, who has more than 2 decades helping people maximize their purpose. Show us your target and we'll help you hit it. Visit www.ricardomiller.com to enroll.
Well, welcome back to Effective Living Monday Night Conversations. Oh my goodness, tonight is going to be another talk for the records. And so I'm excited about tonight's talk. Every Monday night, we dive into a discussion centered around our blog. Now, if you've been familiar with the ricardomiller.com website, every Monday we drop a blog and it's a focused subject matter that really helps to push you towards taking control of your life. And so I have some co-hosts every Monday night that joins me. Lately, we've been diving into these talks, and tonight I'm joined with Billy K. Johnson. What's up, Billy?
Hey, good evening. Happy Monday and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Monday. Listen, Billy, listen, Valentine's Day today. People are busy. This weekend was incredible. Yes. It was Super Bowl weekend. What did you enjoy most about the Super Bowl?
The halftime show.
Halftime show. Who was your favorite? What was the shocking factor that, like, all right, now let's do this?
You know, just the whole show was fun. I liked Dr. Dre. I liked Snoop Dogg. I liked Kendrick. I loved Mary J. Eminem. The song he did, "Lose Yourself," that's a song that I have had on my running playlist since I started running. So, I mean, and if you really listen to the lyrics of it, you know, you only have one shot. Do not miss your chance. Don't miss this opportunity. You know, and here I am, a slow runner, but I'm not going to miss my opportunity. So the whole show was great. They could have, you know, push the envelope, but they chose not to. And I was very impressed with that. The other thing that I liked about the halftime show was that all of those guys were, but except for Kendrick Lamar, all of those guys are between 49 and 56 years old. Wow. So, and still doing it.
Yeah. I never really, and that speaks to something that we're going to talk about a little bit later, an event that we have, talk about reinventing yourself. Yes. Those guys have reinvented themselves, but yet they still have it in regards to the first thing that we all knew them for.
Yes.
And that's going to be interesting. I even think it really connects a lot with tonight's topic, where we talk about stop comparing yourself, because there's enough room for all of us in the world. There was clearly enough room on the stage for multiple major artists. What's your thought about that?
Yeah, well, when you look at the whole thing, I don't know a lot about Death Row Records. Okay, I don't. But I am aware that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z, they're like big heavy hitters. They're whatever. Beyonce has a song out called Boss, and in there, Jay-Z has a portion of the song, and he has something along the lines of, if you're the only boss and nobody else around you is a boss, then you're really not a boss.
Wow.
And so the fact that these guys, they're big heavy hitters, but they were able still to collaborate and make a phenomenal show. I think that speaks volumes, because they each could have carried the show, because it was only 14 and a half minutes total, right? So they could have carried the show by themselves
easily.
But they chose to work together and come together, and it was great. And even the little nod to Tupac, you know, with all of that. So the whole thing was great. It was great. I think there was a lot of lessons that could be learned and gleaned from the show.
Let's talk about the fact that we live in a world today where, you know, a lot of people don't understand the power of coexisting.
Yes.
The power of coexisting. I mean, clearly, these guys have all been coexisting, and there's enough stage to go around. There's enough attention to grab
Mhm.
in and of your own selves or rights in regards to the platform you have. Like even us, we have a space that we're
Mhm.
creating called Effective Living, but
Mhm.
there are thousands of other platforms that are offering a lot of similar services. And truth be told, in the Dallas Fort Worth area, you could find some 2,400 plus Chinese restaurants,
Mhm.
and maybe some 2,400 in the Metroplex chicken restaurants and
Mhm.
burger joints and
Right.
so forth. And so the power of coexisting. What's your view there?
There is such a settling of who you are, and I know our topic is about comparison, and so this is in line with that.
Yep.
When you are in your own lane and you
Yep.
understand who you are and what you bring to the table, your value to society, then you don't have to worry about everything else.
Yep.
So I come from a baking world, and a lot of times there was we're all small business owners, and a lot of times there was a lot of, oh my gosh, they're taking my customers.
No.
But not everybody is going to be your customer. Additionally, there's enough sugar for everybody. There's
Yeah.
enough sugar for everybody. You go
Yeah.
down the bread aisle. Are any of the bread companies complaining
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
there's too many bread people?
Yep.
And even for me, I'm now gluten free.
Mhm.
I can't eat everything. And so those people that do serve whatever it is that I like to eat, I have to be choicey. So that's the other side of it. So you can coexist, just do you, and help somebody out, which is what they
Yep.
did in the show yesterday. They were
Yep.
literally helping each other out, relying on each other's strengths and coming together, and things are better together.
Yep. Yep. Things are better together. It's amazing. Some people would have watched yesterday's show and only extract negatives
Mhm.
from it
Mhm.
because they've like, well, we needed five power artists to pull off one show. No, you
Mhm.
didn't need five power artists to pull off one show. You
Yeah.
had five power artists who have chosen to collaborate to bring about an exceptional level of entertainment that
Mhm.
would have brought all of them back to the forefront of conversation.
Mhm.
Because for the rest of the month, if not for the rest of the year, we're going to be a little bit more inclined to hear of these guys a little bit more than we probably would have been hearing of them, because once again, they weren't afraid to still deliver the goods.
No. No, they were not afraid to deliver the goods. And so not only are we going to still be talking about them for, the rest of the month or year or whatever, but people are talking about this was one of the best. Whether
Yeah.
you want to say it was the best or whatever, it's still going to be in conversation years
Right.
from now.
Yes. Yeah.
Prince did his halftime show, I don't know, however long ago. Michael Jackson did his,
Yeah.
Beyonce did hers.
Yeah.
There's so many artists that have done their own shows,
Yeah.
and they're still talking about it. And,
Yeah.
and even those particular artists, they still brought other people. I know Beyonce brought Bruno Mars on her show
Yeah.
when she did it. And so you can be yourself and don't be afraid to shine, even amongst other people.
Yeah.
50 Cent hung upside down.
Yeah.
I don't think Snoop and Dre were going to hang upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
You're
think
right. You're
I
right.
don't think they were going to do that.
Let's talk about this whole dynamic, because I like how you said that they weren't going to do it because they knew they're not into comparing. They're into dominance in their own right. They know that they all bring something completely different. Let's talk about tonight's subject. If you're watching us for the very first time, thank you for joining us. It's all about effective living. We've written a blog that actually goes with tonight's show, and you can go to ricardomiller.com, learn more about it in written form. But let's talk about tonight's topic. Let's dive right into this whole conversation on stop comparing yourself. Why do you believe that this is important? I want to talk about it, and I'm going to dive in and give my thoughts after I hear what you got to say.
When you are comparing yourself to somebody else, you are overlooking the fact that you are an original. There is nobody that can beat you being you. And when you think about sneakers. A lot of people are into sneakers and they stand in long lines and, whatever to get the pair of sneakers. They have a certain value that is there. And if you look at those sneakers in comparison to a knockoff that tries to be comparable, it doesn't have the same value. And the same thing with Louis Vuitton or, any of these other high-end brands. You think about a piece of artwork, there is a much greater value on the original in comparison to somebody that made a copy or a knockoff. And so when you start comparing yourself to somebody else or comparing what it is that you do, where you are in life, you are negating the fact that you are an original. And that is doing a disservice to yourself.
Let's talk about that because I'm of the exact same belief that what you're sharing that you're taking away from you. Because I mean, you being an original and you accepting yourself actually allows your value to go up and allow you to literally understand there is no competition when it comes to you being your best self. There is no competition for you. Now, the struggle is we live in a world of comparison. We live in a world where, we're comparing height, we're comparing income, we're comparing cars, we're comparing, where you live in the city. You know what I'm saying? What square footage is your house? I mean, there's just so much comparison and it's free. It's liberating. It's so reassuring. And so I thought tonight is part one. Next week, we'll do a part two talk, because I wanted to bring this back to the forefront. And I thought there are certain points that I want us to talk about that we highlighted in the website that brings home the focus of these element of comparison. And so if you're watching tonight, I mean, if you struggle with the idea that, your sister is different than you and what your person next to you in a cubicle next to you at work, what they drive, what they eat, and somebody on social media, how they're showing up in the world. If you struggle with comparison, will you be honest to say that? Billy, do you think a lot of people are honest to say?
By the way, did you share where they can find the blog?
No, go ahead, share.
It's the blog is on www.ricardomiller.com. And then you look at the top of the website and there's a link that says blog and you'll see the most recent blog. For those who may be just joining us for the first time, ricardomiller.com is the website. I think that unfortunately too many people are not honest about how they compare themselves. In our society, in our day and age, social media has exacerbated the comparison. And you have people who stay on Instagram. And Instagram is very visual. You have people who stay on TikTok now and they're looking at that. So they're not only comparing this person's life that they're presenting on social media, but they're comparing followers, comparing likes. How come this person got this many people that are following them and I don't? Or, thinking about what it is that they ate. And, people go on these vacations. Now there's traveling posts and, and then you can start comparing, you end up broke. To be like the Joneses. You better sit down.
Yep. And, we were raised in an era where they say, don't be like the Joneses. I haven't even heard that term anymore. It's like the whole concept is to compare. To compare. Let me go see what my girlfriends wore the last time they went out because I'm going to one up them. Let me see what my, you know what I'm saying? Let me go on this person's page. Years ago, you took a picture and you documented the memory of that experience in an album that you were able to keep and go back and look at and reflect on. Now people are posting it online. Not only are they posting it online as a form to keep it there for memory, but there is this, let me see what you're doing in comparison to what I'm doing. And And it's causing some people to be depressed. It's causing some
Yes.
people to, like you said, go broke. It's causing some people not to really appreciate what they have.
Right. Right. And I don't know if we're going to get too much into how not to compare, but that is a big problem. And I have personally heard from people, younger people typically, who are posting things and they literally come to me, how come nobody's liking my post?
Yeah, yeah.
Or how come I don't look like that? Or they see these social media influencers, and however people got their followers and whatever it is they do, some people did buy their followers, and you
Yeah.
need to understand
Yeah.
that's how they chose to water their grass. They made it artificial. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So they compare these social media influencers and they say this person is, I don't know, 20 years old, and they now have this life.
Yeah.
How come I don't have this life? And I'm 30
Yeah.
and I'm not doing enough. People don't like me. And so, yes, you are getting into a place, you can go into a place where it causes depression, but you forgot that you're an original, and it may not be for you to be a social media influencer. That may not be what's best for you, because I think it was Bishop Jakes that said more light, the lights attract bugs.
Right.
And you may not be able to handle the bugs.
Yeah.
So, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Not healthy.
In so many ways, it's not healthy. Let's dive into these key points of our blog, because on our website, I talked about stop comparing yourself. And here's what I know about comparison. And I want us to dive into that. And we're going to try to give some pointers on how to avoid during next week talk. And maybe we can get to plug in some as a spin-off from each one of these points. But let's talk about the first one. Comparison is always unfair. Comparison is always unfair. We typically compare the worst we know of ourselves to the best we assume of others, right?
Yep.
And so there are people who oh my goodness, I can't believe this is where I am, but look at where they are. What's your whole view there about comparison always unfair?
When you pick fruit off of a tree, you get apples off of an apple tree, but other things that grow on trees are like oranges, right?
Yep.
And so just because it grew on the tree, doesn't mean that you can compare the two. It's not fair to compare the two of those. That yes, they're both fruit. Yes, they both grew on a tree, but they are different. They are very different. And that's not fair. That's not fair, because when we talk about fair, you're talking about all things created equal, having an equal playing field. Apples have a different season than oranges. And you can't, and so if you say, okay, I'm picking this apple right now, and then I'm going to go pick this orange, that one of those may not be ripe. It may not be ready to come off of the tree. So that's an example of why those things are not fair. I can look at somebody else who may be a female, a single mother, or something like that. You don't know people's story, man. You don't know the environment that they grew up in, the environment that they're dealing with. You don't know. So it is not a fair comparison, because you're not playing equal. Right.
I like how you said that. It's so unfair because, I look back at my life. I look back at a lot of people's lives that I know. And I met guys, I know guys who, when they graduated, their parents gave them a plot of land. I'm talking about, like, literally signed the company over to them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you just graduated college. You're going to take over this particular business. Or you graduated high school, and we're going to give you, 2 acres of the family. And you would say, oh my goodness, I have to pay for my community college, and I have to pay for my night classes, and I have to work 2 jobs, and life is so unfair. Life is unfair. Okay, life is, they're never designed to bring us all. But here's the deal. Here's the interesting thing about it. I found that after having been out, this year is my 30th year out of high school, really. And looking back, the person who would have been given, I'm just giving hypothetical, person who would have been given a property, maybe a brand new car after graduating high school, or even probably the rights to take over their parents' business right out of high school. I know a number of individuals who were favorably positioned out of high school like that. And 30 years later, they're doing 100 times worse than the person who did the night classes, the person who did community college, night classes. I'm talking about they serve as, you know what I mean, a protege to somebody for a long time and eventually climb their own selves to the top of prominence and dominance. And then there are others who it looked like the initial fare, you know, they were giving it instantly. Or it's the person who got the interview on national television and everything took off instantly. And then you're just chipping away at it. And you say it's so unfair. They had one CNN interview and everything took off. They had one virtual video and everything took off. You know, a celebrity saw something that person did, wore it, and everything took off. And you're standing on the sideline and you're upset. But if you just keep committing to quality service and an excellent heart, the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. Guard your heart with all this. So you just keep on chucking. You just keep on chucking. Before you know it, you could be more like an oak tree.
Yes.
And they may be more like a corn tree. Now, here's the thing about a corn tree. After one season, that bad boy dries up. So it sprouts up fast, it produces fast, but it doesn't last forever. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is.
Last forever. And I've seen more people who have not last forever because we live in a society where people are trying to live and grow like corn trees.
The microwave.
They have a season that pops up and is presented in a quick, fast way, but it's not a long-lasting model like an oak tree that takes a while. But when it presents itself in its fullness, it's there for a few decades. Yeah.
There's you have to understand. You have to look at what it is. What are you looking at? Where is your focus? And you're more than likely looking at the wrong thing. You're not looking. You're looking at the wrong thing. You have to look at you versus everybody else. If you're so busy figuring out, well, how come, why not me? And how come this and this, that, and the other, you're missing out on your own growth and development.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about this is unfair. It's unfair because you are focused on the wrong thing.
Yes. Yeah.
How to focus.
Let's go to the second one. So we said this is something I've learned about comparison is always unfair. Number two is comparison robs us of precious time. Let's dive into that.
Well, just as I just mentioned, you are wasting your time and energy looking at what everybody else is doing when that time and energy could be focused on what it is that you are doing. And there are times that looking at somebody else can be used for inspiration, but not a comparison of, the question I would ask of somebody that gets stuck in comparison is, why is that the bar? Why is that the standard? Why? And so it's robbing you of time because you are looking at the wrong thing. You're distracted and you need to refocus on you. And again, understand that you are an original. Nobody else can be you.
There are a lot of people who struggle with that, though.
Yes.
The fact that it robs you of precious time because he really says me, right? It robs you of precious time. But when you look back and you realize, oh my goodness, the amount of time I spend comparing myself with my sister, with my brother, with, you know what I'm saying? You know, the amount of people who spend time on social media watching other people, I mean, the time that they put in to watching others, you could have been reading a book, sharpening your skill and developing yourself to become a dominator, a difference maker, a game changer. But most people, once again, they're wasting time paying attention to other people chipping away. Chipping away. You know, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I was thinking today, I was talking to somebody today, and I was talking about how, well, if you lose focus, okay, most people fail because of broken focus. They don't give attention, the time necessary to what they should be about, because they're all about everybody else, right? I said I've lived long enough to realize I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But there are some people, they don't realize every day Ricardo is chipping away at becoming a better version of Ricardo. Now, with that said, Ricardo has enough busyness going on that if you are crazy to try to just keep looking in on Ricardo could take 3 hours from you every day with the video in the morning, the video in the midday, video in the night, and all these posting. He posts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This boy up to some stuff, right? And if you're a, what they call them, troll, if you're a troll, right? If you're not positively trying to extract from me, but you're just snooping around to try to find some kind of way to criticize how I'm doing what I'm doing, you're losing. I'm not losing. You know, I'm deciding that, watch this, we wrote in the blog today, we are only given 86,400 seconds each day, using each one of them to compare yourself or your accomplishments, right? Or your accomplishment really sets you up. If you don't use them correctly, you become secondary. You become the one who loses, because I talk about this a lot. Days are expensive.
Yep.
You know, days are expensive. Time wasted is time you never have again. So you gotta be very careful on. Okay, hey, I think you should learn from others. I think you should lean in and see what other people are doing, and figure out how can I become better, because there's something I can learn from Billy. There's something I can learn from John. There's something I can learn from Michael. There's something I can learn from Kim. But if I'm only comparing myself and looking to see how he's dressing, how she's talking, and then nitpicking, that's what some people did to the Super Bowl. Some people watched the Super Bowl, the halftime, and they were nitpicking, and they were just, oh my goodness, I saw a meme, and they were cracking joke about Eminem. I'm not 50 cents, and his weight in comparison to when he first initially, and the meme says, it ain't 50 cents no more, it's $1, right? $1. Right? And then, you know, Mary J. Blige is doing a thing, Mary from back in the day, she gonna bring it, it's Mary J., right? But here's the deal. There's so much you can learn from those guys in realizing they still getting paid, man.
They are still getting a big check.
They're still getting a big check, okay? They're still getting paid. And here's the deal. They were just introduced to a new generation.
Yeah.
They were just introduced to new audience. So even those who may have already had their music, they were introduced to some people who are going to go back and say, oh, that's who wrote, let me go get the whole album. Or let me check this out. And once again, they're now rebirthed to go forward and live even longer in their prominence and ways. But there are some people who spend the whole time. How many minutes you said it was what, 15, 18 minutes or something like that?
14, it was about 14 and a half minutes.
For 14 and a half minutes. Some people is going to spend the whole week negatively talking about that 14 minutes. Wasting time. Just spending the whole week, I didn't enjoy the halftime. Why did they do it with halftime? What are you doing with your life? Okay? How listen, you know how much time these guys practice for that 14 minutes?
Oh, absolutely.
You know how much time they practice for that 14? And here's the deal. Look how many people around the world are celebrating and appreciating that 14 minutes. And then you're going to get them bugs, them haters, those people who are just jealous that they ain't got the more. And then there's going to be some young artists. Well, you know what? They should have put in some young this and some young that. No, it's called young for a reason. Okay? You got to be proven.
This is grown folks.
This is grown folks. Hey, listen, it's always grown folks. Listen, to do the Super Bowl, you got to have a reputation, man, to have been a crushing, like a person who got a reputation that precedes you. Like you've always delivered, right?
Right. You cannot be half stepping on the stage of the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl, even though it's the NFL and it's just in America, they call them this is the world championship. Yes. I've never understood why, but they call it the world championship. So no, you cannot half step going on the Super Bowl halftime show.
No. Hey, so let's go to the third one before we go to a break. You are too unique to compare fairly. You're too unique. Your gifts, your talent, your successes, your contributions, your values are entirely unique to you and your purpose in this world. A lot of people haven't figured that out. That there's more power to you embracing your uniqueness.
Not only that, frequently you would probably be surprised that somebody is comparing themselves to you.
Wow. Yeah.
Thinking that you have it all together and that you are the standard, and they're trying to be like you, or comparing themselves. How come I'm not here, there, or the other?
Yeah.
And so, whoever you're comparing yourself to, they are not perfect.
Right.
Just like you are not perfect. And whoever is comparing themselves to you, they don't know that you're not perfect. I mean, like, none of us are perfect. There is a massive lack of perfection all across the globe. The only perfect person that has ever walked this earth was Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah.
That's it. And everybody's got their own struggles. There's, and I was just talking to somebody and was sharing with them, I have a public persona. Look, but we're raised to, you don't put your dirty laundry out on the line, right? And so you have to understand, nobody's perfect. Nobody's, man, please. They got their own stuff. They have things that they are insecure about as well. And so you may think they have the perfect shaped body, but you don't know that when the camera is not on, or when they're not posting pictures, that there's some little other idiosyncrasy that they are concerned about. You don't know. You don't know. All you think is, man, they got a perfect body. And how come I don't have that body? I'm eating one piece of spinach a day and I can't get that shape.
And there are so many things into that. I think it's financially. A lot of people are like, you know what? Oh my goodness, how could they make that kind of money? You know what I'm saying? And I think this, I wish I had this platform. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. Oh my goodness, this whole element of being unique and understanding. I like what you said. No one's perfect, and if we can get that in our head, oh my goodness, you know how liberating that is? I think it's about 5 years ago that I used to hear people say things like, I used to hear some old dudes say it when they were upset. Listen, when they're talking to another man, they're like, hey, listen, you put on your pants just like I put on my pants, right? And I've seen people who've gotten real angry and say, you got to use the bathroom just like I got to use the bathroom, right? But that's and you can go in so many different, you're going to die just like I'm going to die, right? But here's the deal. You said something that's even deeper and more richer than that, and that is, we see what people present to us. But if the truth be told, nobody doesn't have something that causes them to, like, oh my goodness. You understand what I'm saying? It's the ADHD, it's the nearsightedness, it's the farsightedness, it's the too short, it's the too tall, it's the struggle with the height, it's I don't manage money well, my temper, my anger, my short attention span, just so many things. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't write, I can't spell. I mean, it's just an array of stuff that like you said, no one has it all together. Billy, when I tell you, when I got that one figured out, let me tell you something. I don't care which room I go into. you can send me to England to the royalty and have them. I'm like, mister, I walk up here, what's up, royal? And I'm trying to do my best. But let me tell you something. You know, they're human too.
That's right.
That's right. I mean, the royals weren't exempt from COVID.
Uh-huh.
Okay? The president of the United States wasn't exempt from COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
COVID.
Yeah, Prince Charles has corona right now. Prince Charles. Prince Charles has corona right now. It's his second time to get it. They were not exempt.
They're not exempt. Okay? Not exempt. So when you can get to that point where you start realizing it is unfair to you to compare yourself and that you lose for having taken the time to give that level of attention to something that just don't deserve that level of attention, because everybody got their own struggle.
Yes. Everybody has their own struggles. In this, I think when we talk about our own uniqueness, this goes back to what I was sharing earlier about you're looking at the wrong thing. You need to celebrate yourself, whether that's your past, because again, you're trying to do this unfair comparison. Whatever it is that you've been through that got you to here, you are here. Regardless of what it was, how bad it was, how difficult it was, you are here right now. And so that's something to celebrate. The fact that you survived and you're here, the fact that you even desire more, that's something to celebrate too. That it's in the wrong way, but the fact that you understand that there is more and that you can desire more, that is something to celebrate. Celebrate that in your own uniqueness. And you know, it's interesting because people want what they don't have, right? So tall people want to be short. People with curly hair want straight hair. And you want what you don't have, but that's something that makes you you. And you are here in this world. Nobody can be you being you, and celebrate that. I've got a little country accent or something or another. I don't know, but and you have an accent too. And we celebrate that.
And you live long enough, you'll meet someone else with a completely different accent, and they have to learn to live with it because that's what they have.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, continuing our talk here on our Effective Living Monday Night Conversation. Hey guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a captivating speaker for your next group meeting or event? Book coach Ricardo Miller. His turnaround story is inspiring, and as a leader's leader, he is committed to holistic development. Whether virtual or in person, Coach Ricardo will deliver a message for your conference, workshop, seminar, or retreat, in the United States or around the world, that will be unforgettable and life-enhancing. Visit www.ricardomiller.com for more information.
You have nothing to gain when you overly compare yourself with others. So now you have everything to lose, and you can find yourself in a place where you never become who you were created to be, because you are living a life of overly comparing yourself with others who aren't even in a lean with where you are. Okay? I tell people that I've had to come to accept that I'm in a lean all by myself. And the truth is, the clock is ticking for me. And you know what, Billy, I can remember having ran my marathon, okay? I remember doing the marathon. And I hadn't studied enough to realize that, you know, they have a number of different types of runners. The half and the full starts off together. So you should see me, I'm running, right? I'm running, I'm doing my thing. There's a number of things I'm already doing wrong because one, I'm looking at others.
Right.
When you're running a marathon, it's not about others. It's about you finding yourself and running your race, right?
Right.
But in addition, I saw this guy next to me. He's running, I'm running, we're talking, you know, we're just, you know, strolling because we got a good ways to go. But he's going a little bit faster, so I figured I'm going to keep up with him. But, you know, we're going in, and he started to make a turn. I said, hey, where you going? He said, I'm going this way. I said, what do you mean you going this way? He said, man, I'm doing the half. Billy, he said, I'm doing the half. I'm doing the full, he's doing the half. And I was keeping up with him, which cost me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we were running two different races.
Yep.
Even though we were on the same street, even
Yep.
though the gunshot went off and both of us started together, our destination would have brought us to a place where he would have gotten in his car before me. He could have been eating with his family before me. Come on. He would have got his medal before me. There's just so much to learning the importance of embracing your own run.
You know, that's a really great analogy, because not only did you two did not have the same destination, right? But there are other people that are on that same route. Say, you know, for example, that are doing the full marathon. There are people that are at different paces. And so you're going to see them, and some you won't see. There are some that started off behind you, and they're going to be gone. And there's some that were in the front. You'll never see them at all.
At all.
Right. But there, so not only is it about staying in your lane, but it's also about running at your pace. You can't, if you try to compare your pace to somebody else, you don't know if this person has been running for 20 years. You just started, you try to keep up with them, you're going to fall out.
Hey, listen, when I was running, this guy, he came out there, man. And you know, it's 5:30 in the morning. It's the BMW marathon. And he looked like Rocky and Rambo combined. Okay. He just totally ripped. He ain't got on no shirt. Okay. At 5:30 in the morning. Just a nice cut, dude. He's jumping jacks, and he's gonna do the half marathon, right? So we're all going in. Man, listen. Out of the 18 mile, he was on a golf cart with them on his legs stressed. He just looked all good at the very opening. I mean, he looked like he was running. He's gonna do a commercial, right?
Right. Yeah.
But at the 18 mile, they put him on the golf cart where they laid him out in the back and had his leg. And it was just one of those kind of deals. And you would have assumed, oh man, that dude probably a Navy SEAL or something like that. You know. He's cousin to Rambo, right? And he's going to do well on this run. And he never completed. Not on that particular run. And so comparison, man, just tell yourself, hey, man, I'm here to run my race. As a matter of fact, on my shirt, Billy, I placed on my shirt, I had it customly created that says, listen, I'm not competing, I'm completing.
Correct.
I'm not competing, I'm completing. My goal is to complete.
Right. And even with that guy, the perception that he gave was one thing. And so can you imagine the people that compared themselves to him, thinking, man, here I am, we're running the same race, but he looks like he's fit and that he can complete either the 13 or the 26. He looks like it. But he was not able to. And it was a false perception that, we just talked about stuff being unfair. It wasn't a fair comparison. That was him. And again, can you imagine if people had compared themselves and started feeling bad? Like, man, I'm not going to be able to do this race because I don't look like that. And he got carted off.
Hey, I have to say this too. I have to plug this in there. When I was running that marathon, the BMW marathon, there was this older guy. I would assume he could have been 65. And he wasn't even running, jogging. He was limping, okay? I mean, like, he had a unique limp, right? But here's the deal. That joker finished, man. That joker finished. Let me tell you something. He did the whole thing with a limp that was just consistent, right? It was consistent. And so, listen, I was like, hey, man, you want some water? You know what I mean? And here's the deal. He was in that category of me, okay? If there were 5 categories, the last category was category 5. Me and him was in the same section, okay? Now, here's the deal. I'm in the front of the last section, okay? And then I'm almost in the middle of the last section. And then on to the end, I'm relatively in the last section, right? But he was consistent in the last section, but still qualified and completed.
Because it was his race. He chose to run his race limp and all.
Limp regardless.
limp and all, versus, and he finished in comparison to the guy that looked like Rambo's cousin.
Yes.
Two different, did the guys look totally different?
Yeah.
And the perception, when you're looking at them, the perception you have, like, older gentleman with the limp's not going to finish. Rambo's going to finish. Yeah. And it was the total opposite. So you cannot, you have to run your own race. Do you, boo?
Hey, come on, put that in the comment. Do you, boo? Billy, let's talk about 2 more points before we end talk this evening. What's 2 more that we want to highlight today?
The comparisons deprive us of joy.
Yeah. Wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we talked about that a little bit earlier, about how you can go into depression, trying to keep up with somebody else who is not even who's not even in your lane or running your race. They're not there. I think when we look at that and we consider that, one of the things that you have to know about yourself is you have to know your triggers. And if I can just do a little plug here, you have been teaching us within the group coaching. We have the Effective Living group coaching, where Monday through Friday, you are teaching us things to help us get a mindset that's going to help us live life effectively. And one of those sessions that you have done, you've talked about knowing yourself and studying you. And in that, you have to know your triggers. What are the things that you are self-conscious about that you know is going to put you in a bad place? Today is Valentine's Day, right? And so for some people, it's Single Awareness Day. And so there's some people, they cannot be on social media today looking at everybody booed up, because that's going to put them in an unhealthy place, in an unhealthy mental place. That's a trigger. But if you don't study yourself, if you don't know those things about you, you're going to be in trouble. And we are here, this platform, we're trying to help people. Coach Ricardo, you put in a lot of work so that you can help people. And if I can share on your behalf, you are motivated and passionate about helping people live their best lives. So people should sign up for the group coaching, and they can find out more information on the website, which is ricardomiller.com.
Thank you. Thank you for the plug. Thank you for the plug, Billy. Thank you for the plug. Listen, in all honesty, though, you mentioned that in addition, there are some people, and I know you are aware of them, there are people who are retired lately. There are people who kids, they're empty nesters. There are people who are changing careers after COVID. They realize, I don't want to do that anymore. There are some people who they got laid off, they got fired. There's so many different things that could cause someone to stop and think, I may need to reinvent myself to learn how to live moving forward for myself, to ensure that I can finish my race well. We're having a Reinvent Yourself webinar this weekend, Saturday. It's a virtual experience. If you're anywhere in the world, you can participate in this. I want you to go to ricardomiller.com and register. I am of the belief a new season demands a new you. And you got to realize that everything's changing, and with everything changing, Billy, I think there are people who realize, when you're in the mall now, you notice the mall business isn't the same. You travel, it's not the same on the airline. It's not the same. The automobiles. I mean, look at BMW just launched a new electric BMW car. I mean, it's super nice, right? And there are people, you've lived 40 years, you've lived 30 years, you've lived 50, 60 years. And the only thing that hasn't changed is you. I mean, like, everything's changed, but you know, and you got to realize, if you want to get the rest of what life has to offer you, you have to be prepared to get an upgrade. And so changing is necessary for you to embrace what the future is going to bring your way. And so I want to invite you guys, go to our website, register for that Reinvent Yourself. Billy, you have been seeing people reinvent yourself. You have reinvented yourself a few times. Talk to us about it.
I have. I am an empty nester. I know I look like I'm 12, but no, I am an empty nester, and I have had to reinvent myself. I was always a single mother, and my identity was always I was Jeremiah's mom, or I was the drummer's mom. That's how people knew me. And to then see him leave the nest, then it was like, what am I going to do now?
Wow.
And
wow.
not only what am I going to do now? Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? And one of the things that motivated me to get your book was, if there's something I want to change, I can change. I am not a rock.
Yeah.
I am not a rock. So in addition to coming to the webinar on Saturday, I would encourage people to get the book if they have not purchased the book. Which the book is called Effective Living, Creating Your Guide to Creating a Life You Don't Need a Vacation From. I have the Kindle version. I also have hard copy as well. And so I really would encourage people, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on this platform, but in all sincerity, that is something. You are not a rock. And to your point, things have changed. We are in a new normal. This is a new normal. COVID kind of is gone, kind of not. I don't know. We're still masking, still not masking. They're still telling you get your boosters and all of that. But who are you? In the, we talk about the economy and the job market. People are getting jobs. They're getting different things because they want to do something different. And you can and you should do something different. You should do something different. Why not?
Well, why not? So Billy said, go and get your book. Tonight I want to make sure that you take advantage of this special offer. You can get an Effective Living shirt, a book, and a water bottle. Check that out. So we got 2 shirts. We have this, I'm Creating a Life I Don't Need a Vacation From. Or you can get the shirt that just simply said Effective Living. Connect with our website today, discover what products we have, and participate in grabbing a hold of these products. Get your book. I will sign that book. It's a tool that you can use to take control of your life. Billy, what's the last point we're going to talk about before we bring
Well, actually, I want to ask you something. I would love to get your thoughts. There is a statement, and usually I hear it in church, and they tell people, if you want what I want, then you need to do what I did. Right. And that is comparison, right? And so that goes into all of those things that we've been talking about. So what do you think about that statement? And is it really healthy or not healthy, or what do you think?
It's a great question. I think it's a healthy question when put into proper context. It's an unhealthy position if you're applying the do what I do without understanding really what I did. And so I tell people, if you are copying me with a full understanding of what I did, I went to school, you went to school. You know what I'm saying? I got a mentor, you got a mentor. I started reading a book a week, you started reading a book a week. I discovered my purpose, you made a commitment to discover your purpose. I became better at time management. You decided that, hey, that guy's better at time management. I'm going to become better at time management. I learned investment. You chose to have learned investments as well. We're somewhat copying a lot of people when we're reading their books, when we're following them on social media, when we're attending their webinars, seminars, and we're hearing their statements as to how they became who they became, and we're following them. We're copying a lot of their model. However, if you are copying someone without understanding, it's the same. Let me go in the complete opposite direction to where it's a negative. I'm going to Houston. You say you want to go to Houston, but you didn't check your car. I checked my car. You didn't make sure you had gas for the road. I have gas for the road. You don't know that I'm going to drive full. I'm going to stop in Hillsville at a motel. You don't have money for a motel.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your whole Houston travel could be a very bad experience because if Ricardo's going to Houston, I want to go to Houston too. That's going to not be a good experience for you because you're copying me without the proper understanding as to how I'm going to get about getting to Houston. You see what I'm saying? I may have brought in a second driver to make sure that we can rotate driving. You chose to drive alone, which now puts more of a wear and tear on you. I'm going there because they're going to give me free tickets to the event that I'm going to. You, on the other hand, are going to have to pay for the hotel and pay for the event. You don't understand the full. And so people who are copying without understanding the full is hurting themselves. People who are copying with the understanding of the benefits of what they're completely copying has more of a greater return and a more healthy outcome at the end of the day.
So it's more of an inspiration versus a copy. And, you know, I think sometimes when people say that, it can come across as a little bit of arrogance.
Yeah.
And how often do you hear somebody say that without explaining those processes in those details for how they got to where they are? They're just like,
it's interesting you said that because there is always more than what has been told to you.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's always Herb Ford, a good friend of mine, just sent me a recommended book that I'm listening to. And Herb, if you're listening to this, I love and appreciate you, my brother. But he sent me this book, and I'm listening to this audio book, and the guy is giving an instruction to a mentee. And the guy is inspired. And he says, listen, I want you to go do this. And if you could do this one thing, I'll give you all of this. And the guy said, oh my goodness, I got this. And he said, one thing I want you to know, you're going to need resilience, and you're going to have determination that says, I won't be denied. And if you could lock in, I believe that you have the capability. Guy went out there, I got this. I'm paraphrasing. And he went on the first day. Everybody said no. Second day, no. 7 days. I don't know if this is going to work. 10 days later, I was like, I don't know if I'm called to this. 15 days later, but there was just, the guy never told him about the no's. The guy never told him about the doors closing in his face. The guy never told him. There's just so much more. Listen, everybody wants to go to Houston, but the 4-hour drive from the Dallas area has a different kind of feel. Watch this. People say it like this. I heard Miles Monroe eloquently present this. He says, God shows you the vision. He shows you Houston in your heart to want to get to Houston. I want to go to Chicago. But what he doesn't show you is the process.
Right.
The between. Right. Vision is, watch this. This is another definition of how I teach vision. Vision is the ability to see the end at the beginning. The process now is the part that the bumps in the road, you know what I'm saying? The preparation, the wear and tear that comes in between. And we see people in their arrival, but we don't talk to them about their process.
Nope. Not only do we not talk to them, but they sometimes are not willing to share.
That's true. But here's the deal. I'm of the belief, and this is a true statement, and you've heard me say it so many times, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes.
Somebody wants to help you. Now, they may not be able to help you in full, but they can help you in part. And what I mean by that is somebody can help you to get from, watch this, Billy, you can help me to get from here to 45. I get from 45 to a gas station that tells me how to get to another gas station that tells me how to get to another. I'm going to keep using Houston. And before you know it, I get to Houston. Now, I would have wanted someone like you to take me on the full drive to Houston. But all you were prepared to do is get me from 20 to 45. Well, someone is assigned to help you, not necessarily how you want to be helped.
Right.
Sometimes we want someone to hold our hands the entire way. Sometimes we want somebody to spoon feed us the entire time. Sometimes we want people, I don't want you to talk down to me. You ever heard people, don't talk down to me.
Oh, yeah.
Don't talk that direct to me. Don't talk. I mean, it's just this. Can you fix
baby me? Baby me.
Hey,
Baby
hey,
me.
can you help me without correcting me?
Mm.
You know? And there are some people who are like, hey, listen, I don't want you to help because you're black. I don't want your help because you're white. I don't want your help because you're an international person with an accent. I don't want your help because you don't have a degree. I don't want your help because you're not from Texas. I don't want your help because whatever. You're not a Christian. I don't want your help because you're Muslim. I don't want your help because, you know what I mean, you're a man. I don't want your help because you're a woman. I don't want your help because you're a child. I don't want your help because you're old. And the truth is, your deliverance can come packaged in all of those things.
And yes, in all of them at any time, in any way. One of the things that we haven't talked about tonight is it's when we're comparing, we're taking God out of the equation. We're taking God out of the equation in how he can send help your way for you to get to where it is that you're trying to go. If you're going to choose to have these people as an inspiration and not a comparison, you're still going to need God in the mix. And you don't know how or who he will use, what he will use to help you to get to where it is that ultimately is part of your purpose. Part of your purpose. And even with the comparison, you know, you're looking at other people, but is that part of your purpose?
Yes.
Or is that just you just something you think you want?
Isn't that the truth? You know, the Bible talks about a unique story. It talks about Paul, Apollos. You know, and it says one plant, you know, one water, but it is God who gives the increase.
Yes.
And you know, some people say I'm of Paul, and some people say I'm of Apollos. You know, and there are people who, you know, the truth is, if you want to be who you are called to be, you want to stay open to allow yourself to grow however God would have it for you to grow. Somebody said, I needed to read. No, you need to be watered. That's all.
Yes.
Your water may not come from rain, but you got watered.
Right.
You got watered enough to grow. And if you got watered enough to grow and grow to survive to a point where your roots can go deep enough now that you're no longer needed to be watered, but you can now find water for yourself in the earth. You are crying for rain when God is giving you water. Water is coming through somebody's pitcher pouring out on you every day. I don't want that kind of water. I want rain.
Just be thirsty. Just be thirsty.
Just be thirsty, man. And appreciate the water, okay?
Right.
Really, in closing, man, talk to us. Challenge our viewers to register and be a part of Reinvent Yourself webinar that's happening this weekend.
Yes. So again, first of all, thank everybody that's been watching. And if you watch the replay, thank you guys for tuning in and for connecting to our community. The Effective Living platform is a community. We are active on YouTube. We're active on Facebook. We're active on Instagram. We're active on Twitter. We are in all of these spaces, and we are here to help you to maximize your life so that you can live and wallow, if you will, in your purpose. Just be in your purpose. Be who you are designed, who God created you to be. This is about doing what you want to do, coupled with enthusiasm for what you need to do. That's what it sounds cute, creating a life you don't need to take a vacation from, but that's what it's about. There are things that you're going to have to do every day. You just have to do it, but you also want to have some space and opportunity for some enjoyment to do the things that you want to do. So I encourage you to stay connected to this platform. If you're watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's just there's a button that says subscribe, and then after you hit subscribe, go hit the bell that's next to it. So then you are alerted anytime that Coach Ricardo goes live. He goes live frequently because he is passionate about helping you to live your best life. So all of those things, all of these tools and these resources, they are for you. They're for you. He puts these programs together for you. So this weekend, we're talking about reinventing yourself. It's the webinar. You don't have to be who you are. If you just even think that there might be something that you want to change, maybe you want to make a little tweak, or maybe you want to make a big change, whatever it is, how do you do that effectively? How do you reinvent yourself in a way that is smart and intelligent and effective for you? Because again, this is about you. It's you. And in that we are talking about personal responsibility. So Coach Ricardo can put all of this information. He can have the book. He can have the blog that comes out every Monday at 10 a.m. And it's on the website, ricardomiller.com. All of those things can happen. And if you don't take the information and apply it, he's going to keep talking because there will be somebody who is going to apply the information because they are going to want the change. So again, you can go to our website and register tonight at ricardomiller.com for our webinar that's happening this weekend. We also have, if you're in the Dallas area, I strongly encourage you to come and hang out with us on Saturday, March the 5th for our 5K walk run. You get to see us in person. How about that? How much fun is that? That alone is worth the price to come and hang out with us in person. We are loving life, enjoying our lives, and it's about creating the life. This is a creation of the life that you want. What is it that you want? And what are you willing to do for it? Are you going to stay connected and plugged in to this platform? Or are you going to say, oh, that was cute, that was nice? Yeah. Choice is yours.
The choice is yours. And Billy, we talk a lot about on this platform, it's all about personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. It's all about understanding that you have a choice. And if you taking responsibility for the choices that you need to be making, that's favorably working out for you to ensure that your future continues to get better, then you would appreciate this platform. So as you mentioned, Billy, this coming Saturday, we have a webinar. If you haven't registered, go register. And then the meetup is happening first Saturday in March. Would love for you guys to show up. It's going to be awesome. Billy, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for a great talk. This has been awesome. Part 1, stop comparing yourself. Next week, we'll continue this talk with another one of my co-hosts. Listen, guys, our goal is to help. And as you mentioned, Billy, we're getting remarks coming in from people from all around the world saying, thank you. Thank you, because the information is being provided and the seeds are being planted, and God determines who would, see germination and growth and development through these information and all that. We want to help water somebody's potential. We want to help plant a seed of hope in the heart of someone. We want to bring inspiration to somebody who feels as though life has come to an end. We want to challenge someone to go the extra mile. We want to remind someone that it's okay to reinvent themselves and to continue to show up, because as long as you've been given life in this body, you got to tell yourself, he ain't done with me yet. I still could do something with the rest of my life. As long as I keep showing up every morning and telling myself, I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life, then effective living is a platform you need to stay close to.
Yes, absolutely. And be sure to visit the blog and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the blog. And I'm passing the baton to my sister friend, Minister Carol Crockett, for next week for part 2.
Part 2, Carol Crockett, she'll be here. It's going to be a great talk. God bless you guys. Have a good night.
Good night.